probably. We have been telling stories our whole life and way before that. We are creatures of stories. We have our own story. And the reason why I find it extremely important to make stories out of images is that this can be extremely therapeutical, in the sense that I am 100% sure that if I would look at the same images 2 years from now, I would probably tell a completely different story. It is impossible for me to relate to an image without taking into account my personal experience, and my personal experience in the here and now, the moment in which I'm looking at the image. So not yesterday and not tomorrow, but now. What did I have for breakfast today? How did my workday went? So that shapes the way we tell stories, and the way we tell stories tells us a lot about ourselves. And if we can look at those stories as an object themselves, we can learn a lot about what we're going through and about who we are. One thing that always interested me in the idea of reading through images is really this possibility of giving away the vision of the ones who made the image, the vision of the artist who made it. And I remember one thing when I was studying theater, that there was one of the main quotes that I took with me from Eugenio Barba, that said that theater is not the art of the actor, but it's the art of the spectator. So, in fact, it's not about the actor it's not the actor or the director who tells exactly which is the message that has to be taken home, but it's the spectator task to deal with that message, him or herself. So the spectator is the one who will decide how to read that image that has been put on stage. And when I look at different images, it is, of course, I always have fun thinking if this is exactly the right way of reading it, if the artist is really telling me what I'm actually receiving. But this is what makes it fun, in fact, because you enter in a dialogue with something that is apparently not moving, but in this way, it becomes alive. So when I look at this image of this kid behind the guns, for me, it tells the story of someone who's the first reaction I have is a young kid going to visit a really boring museum with his school, and really not wanting to be there. Is someone who really doesn't belong. And while the other people that are probably on the other side of this image, or are the people that he's looking at, are wandering around the museum and looking at this, guns and all kinds of historical probably things that are in this museum, he is really looking at them and thinking, why am I here again? I just really want to go home. I shouldn't be here. So this is my reading of this image. So if I look at the picture at the image of the man behind the glass, the way art-based learning helps me to look at it, by starting from the principle of abduction. So to think in speculation. And why that specific one? Because I personally tend to analyze a lot. So my first reaction to this picture would be to try and figure out which is the exact scenario in which this is happening, or in which this can happen. And in order to not analyze, but to start thinking in possibilities and use my imagination that goes far beyond my analytical skills and strategies, I try to work in an abductive way. And in this sense, I, for example, start to imagine possibilities rather than analytical scenarios. So I start looking at the picture, the reflex on the glass, and I'm looking at someone who is actually spying on someone else. He's spying on someone else, and he finally spotted it, and is on the other side of the river, is running with a dog, and he finally has it. And he's saying to the assistant that he has next to himself, write it down, we got him. Maybe I read too much Sherlock Holmes, but it points me more in that direction. if I would enter a white gallery and I will encounter this image at first, personally, I think I would definitely stop and look at it because of the colors, or explicitly the absence almost of colors. In the sense, not fluo colors or not too many colors on the canvas, but mainly white, gray, and black. That would be my first reaction to it. And in a place like a museum, which is often full of colors, seeing something that is more black and white really calms me down. So first of all, it puts me in a really calm way of looking at something. It gives me the possibility of reflect and stop for 1 second while breathing in and breathing out, and will bring immediately away the need to look at all the possible images in the museum. The other reason why I will be really drawn to look at these images is because of this, of course, the weird shape is as if a dog and a man were put together in one image, and as if it tells me that this was not made by someone now, but it was made by someone thousands and thousands of years ago in an era in which probably men and dogs were in one form, which I find really fascinating, to be fair.